Your spreadsheet is open, your tabs are stacked, and the door you keep considering is still unopened. Indecision, your precious maybe, is my favorite way to paralyze you. This is for the capable mind that keeps collecting options and calling it intelligence. How did I turn more choices into less movement? Before this ends, you will close one door on purpose, without asking anyone to bless it. I'll show you the exact loop, the sentence you use to stay innocent, and the leverage point where you consent. Indecision is a relief addiction disguised as responsibility. You feel the trigger of uncertainty. You earn reward by delaying. You justify it with more info. And you repeat until your agency thins out. You hover over the final click, apply, buy, send, commit. Then you open one more review, ask one quick opinion, or add one more column to the spreadsheet, and the relief arrives immediately, even though nothing changed. You call it being responsible. I call it a sedative. Maybe keeps doors open while your life stays closed. Watch the 5%. Cursor hovering, thumb above send, hand on the doorknob. That is where you grant me permission. You say, if I had one more piece of information, I'd be ready. You say, I'm not delaying, I'm optimizing. You say, if I choose, I can be wrong. If I don't choose, I stay innocent. The trap isn't the choices. It's the ritual you perform right before choosing. The extra tab, the extra opinion, the extra column. Hypnotic rhythm is my name for smooth repetition of an expensive behavior that feels easy. Rationalization is the noble sentence you use to make that behavior look clean. The trigger is simple. 2 doors appear, and both cost you something. A new job means losing the old identity. A purchase means admitting a direction. So you stand at the fork, and you feel the pressure in your chest. Symbolic correspondence. Your inner conflict signal spikes when 2 futures collide. You don't resolve it. You soothe it. You delay, and the reward arrives. Relief. Not progress. Relief. You rename the delay. I'll decide when I'm sure. I'll sleep on it. I just need a little more clarity. Here is the payoff. Temporary calm and innocence preserved. You get to feel like nothing is your fault because nothing is your decision. Then I plant the new loop. Relief means I made the smart move. So next time uncertainty hits, you reach for the same drug, and you start treating avoidance as safety. Symbolic correspondence. The reward relief loop tags postponement as good. There's a detail people often miss. The delay seals itself with a small celebration, a snack, a scroll, a quick video, a message that says, I'm still thinking. That treat is my signature. It turns postponement into reinforcement. In my reading, the danger is not choosing wrong. The danger is choosing in the first place, because choosing ends the reward I get from your delay. I don't need you to fear failure. I need you to fear closure, because closure ends your excuses. When you can't tolerate the fork, you build a costume that looks like intelligence. A grid, columns, weights, scores, objective criteria. You put your life into cells because cells don't demand courage. They demand formatting. The trigger is the same, uncertainty. The reward is different, control feeling without commitment. And the rationalization is usually respectable. This is important, I must get it right. You add another column and you feel useful. You label a criterion and you feel responsible. You tweak the weights and you feel strategic. But nothing closes. Nothing moves. Nothing risks being real. Here is the payoff. Your responsible person identity stays intact. You can point to the grid as proof you're trying. Then I slide in the new loop. If I can't quantify it, I can't choose it. So anything human, timing, desire, instinct, appetite for the unknown, gets dismissed as irrational. A detail people often miss is the timing. The spreadsheet grows fastest exactly when the decision is already clear. When you're one step from committing, the grid suddenly needs a new metric, a new scenario, a new set of weights. That expansion is not analysis. It's recoil. And I like it because it turns your inner voice into an accountant that refuses to sign the paper. When the grid can't deliver certainty, you reach for my next lever, other people's permission. Now the phone comes out. You send the message that sounds mature and harmless. What would you do? In common drift situations, that question is not curiosity. It's a vote request. The trigger is pressure. The fork returns. The spreadsheet fails to produce certainty. So you outsource the choice and you feel the reward. Borrowed calm. Symbolic correspondence. Social reassurance dampens the uncertainty signal, and your body mistakes that quiet for wisdom. You justify it with a clean line. I need perspective. But your real move is permission laundering. You distribute ownership so you can stay innocent if the outcome disappoints. My gain is simple. Your agency becomes conditional. You start waiting for the room to agree before you move. Here is the payoff. Innocence preserved through committee. And here is the new loop. If others agree, I'm protected. So you ask again and again. And the circle of voices grows until you can't hear yourself. A missed detail is hidden in the wording. You don't ask, which one am I choosing? You ask, which one is safer? That one word converts a decision into a safety ritual, and safety rituals are my territory. You can even pick the option you wanted, and still pretend you were led there. That is how I keep you clean while you stay stuck. Even when you finally choose, I collect my fee. Regret simulation and comparison, my carousel. This is the stage where you reopen the alternatives after you were supposed to be done. You search best option, top 5, what if, mistakes to avoid. You keep checking because checking feels like control. The trigger is proximity to closure. The closer you get to a committed life, the louder the future scenes become. So you compare. You hunt for a confirming detail. The reward is a short certainty hit, just enough to keep you spinning. And the rationalization line is polished. I'm avoiding regret. You imagine the future version of you blaming the present version of you, and you try to buy immunity with more research. In my reading, you're not preventing regret. You're preventing ownership. Here's the payoff. You avoid responsibility for imperfect outcomes by keeping the decision not final. And here is the new loop. If it isn't perfect, I shouldn't commit. So you postpone closure until the opportunity decays. Then you pretend the decay was fate. The missed detail is the fantasy itself. The best option is not your goal. It's your permission slip to keep browsing. As long as you believe perfection exists, you can justify more tabs, more comparisons, more delay. Symbolic correspondence. Checking soothes uncertainty for a moment, then teaches you to check faster next time. That is hypnotic rhythm again, smooth, low friction, expensive. The exit is not confidence. It's a closure rule that breaks the relief reward I trained. I win easiest when your life stays in preview mode. 2 doors, 10 tabs, 3 opinions. 1 spreadsheet that keeps expanding. I don't need you to be weak. I need you to be uncommitted. The consent moment is small. It doesn't look evil. It looks reasonable. It's the instant you reach for one more review. One more metric. One more person to ask. That is where you agree to drift. So, I'll give you a rule that creates kinetic friction. An uncomfortable interruption in the loop. Not motivation. Not a speech. A procedure. Closure first. Relief later. First, close tabs and documents until one remains. The one that directly leads to action. Second, write one sentence. I choose cunning because monaik, and do not use the word ready. Third, take the smallest irreversible step. Send, apply, buy, schedule. Within 2 minutes. First, make the decision alone and set a 5-minute timer. Second, message one person after. I decided. No vote needed. Third, sit in the discomfort for 60 seconds without opening a new tab, list, or spreadsheet. Symbolic correspondence. The discomfort spike at closure is the loop breaking, not danger. And when you feel the urge to reopen the carousel, notice the sentence forming in your mouth. That sentence is rationalization, trying to hand me the wheel again. End it at the hinge point, and my favorite sedative loses its effect.